I won't bow down to no man. Not even if I need to ride to the next village. Not if I need to cross continents. Nor if I need money. Yeah. Or when I feel lonely. Yeah. Will I ever bow down to no man? Not even if you have a car with a tank full of gas. Not even if you have a ship to cross the seas. Nor if you own a bank full of employees. Or if you lead your own church and put your soul at ease. Will I ever bow down to you? Bow down to no man. I won't bow down to no man. I won't bow down to no man. I won't bow down to no man.
Good afternoon, everybody. How is everyone doing this afternoon? So, sorry that I didn't get to do the podcast yesterday. I had work last night and I forgot to get everything sorted, and I got too late for me to do the podcast a little earlier yesterday. So, today the podcast is a go. Now, this week has been pretty important, and well, not pretty important, but pretty decently big for news, because we had Blizzcon this week. Oh, that was funny. But we'll get into that later. This week, I wanted to talk about the new Modern Warfare. I was able to play the new Modern Warfare this week, and I was able to play Outer Worlds this week. Now, I'm going to have a rant about Outer Worlds in just a second, but I'd like to sort of have a quick word on my quick sort of submarine and my quick sort of sort of review sort of thing on what I thought of Modern Warfare. Also, by the way, there is no Muggle of the Week this week, surprisingly. Apart from some small little things to do with Blizzard and a rumour that's come around from Steam, but there isn't really any Muggle of the Week this week, so there's no Muggle of the Week this week. The gaming companies have sort of behaved themselves this week, so, or any influencers and stuff like that, so I guess it's probably best to sort of keep it, we're not going to have our internet bullying of the week this week, but, but I want to have a chat about Modern Warfare. Now, Modern Warfare came out this week, and surprisingly, it hasn't been bad. Surprisingly, Modern Warfare has been a pretty decent title for Activision. I do like the different take they've taken with it. They have taken some risks. There have been a lot of things that they've brought into the game which have been very realistic in a lot of ways, especially with what a lot of military personnel and stuff like that do see on a daily basis sometimes, or on a regular basis. They did censor a lot from what I've heard they used to have in the base game before a lot of people did put their arms up. Now, a lot of people were complaining about, oh, well, it's not as confronting as people they said it was going to be. Well, maybe if you didn't complain, it probably would have been a lot more confronting than you fucking wanted it to be. But anyway, let's go with the campaign first. The campaign was pretty solid. Had a pretty decent story. Definitely leads into a sequel, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that turns out to be. When it comes to the multiplayer, multiplayer itself is pretty decent. The gameplay is pretty fun. Their ground war mode is their little sort of toe-dipping mode. They wanted to try and see how people would feel as sort of... It's pretty much Battlefield, except like the Battlefield sort of modes, except not like on the scale of Battlefield, I should say, but more in a Call of Duty-esque sort of fashion. Personally, I would actually say that if they up the player cap a bit to a couple more players, made it a bit more grander scale, brought in a couple more new maps that were actually pretty decent, some new vehicles, and actually sort of went balls deep with it. They have a fucking gold. They have a gold mine in their hands, and out of all the modes that I've been playing on Modern Warfare, Ground War has been probably the most I've been playing, and Ground War has been pretty good. Apart from that, the weapons are a bit balanced, because the best weapons to use are the double barrel shotgun and the fucking and the M4, and it's just screams campers. The maps aren't very well designed and created, which is kind of sucks. If they had better map designers and stuff like that, I reckon it probably would be hands down one of the best Call of Duty multiplayer experiences to have. But at the moment, the multiplayer is lacking from previous titles, which kind of sucks. But for the most part, the Modern Warfare's strength is the campaign. The campaign, for the most part, is absolutely amazing. Alright. Now, for what a lot of people have been waiting for, and some people have been asking me to do, is my fucking rant on Outer Worlds. To every single reviewer out there, did you fucking play the same game I did? Because there's problems. A lot of fucking problems. Now, before I get into it, I'm going to go into spoilers. Right? So anybody that doesn't want to fucking listen to spoilers, I'm sorry. Yeah, please leave. Come back in about 10 minutes after I fucking had my rant. But this is absurd. Right? Now, your usual RPG, right? Like, for me personally, and I'm going to get criticized by this, and I'm going to have an argument to this in a minute, right? Is when I play RPGs, I play the campaign. Straight up. I don't really do the side missions. I do the side missions afterwards. Because I want to play and see what the main storyline's like, see how the main story will go, how it ends up, and everything like that. And just have my sort of normal fun with it that I usually have, and then do my extended stuff afterwards. Now, for example, the Mass Effect series, you play through the campaign, you unlock all of the majority of mission planets that you go to. So you go through about probably 70% of the planets, right? Which is a fucking fair chunk, right? Especially for Mass Effect. Then you go on to then you unlock all of your fucking crew members that you have with you throughout the entire game. Then and the campaign itself, without doing any of the side missions or any of the specific character selected missions for your crew, right, would take you about a good solid 15, 20, 30 hours, depending on what difficulty you pick, right? That's a decent that's a decent runtime when you just push through the main campaign. Right? You play through... Okay, so you look at something like The Witcher. The main campaign alone is 35 hours without doing any side missions. I know, because I played it. You go through 90% of the areas that you go through. Again, so much content there, right? 35 fucking hours. When it comes to Outer Worlds, on the other hand, I unlocked 2 of the 6 characters that you can unlock. I did the main campaign with 1 side mission. No, sorry, 2 side missions for each fucking character solo missions that you do with them. You do what else was it? I've done the main storyline, right? 6 hours on medium difficulty. 6 fucking hours it took me to finish the game. I had a glitch at the end of a bug at the end of the game, which, from memory, still hasn't been fucking fixed yet. Right? When it comes right at a pivotal fucking point of the game, which sucks absolute dick. Right? The story is lackluster as fuck. Right? And you only unlock 2 fucking characters. The only other way you unlock any of the other characters, right, is you do the side fucking quests. Now, Nico, when you play the RPG games, you're supposed to go and do the side missions. You're supposed to do the other things. I've already fucking proven that argument when it comes to the fucking Mass Effect series alone. Hell, even the Witcher series alone. Right? Hell, fucking Skyrim. As much as I fucking hated how that main story ended, took me 16 hours to finish. 16! Fallout 4. Took me 20. This is all playing on medium to hard difficulties. And you're telling me that's too fucking that you know you're supposed to do the side quest to make the story go further. Yes it does. When your main campaign only lasts for fucking 6 hours, when you've got other AAA fucking RPG games that you play the main story and it lasts longer than that, you've got a shit game on your fucking hands. People going on about, oh, look at all the fucking huge weapon varieties and all these other stuff. There isn't any. 90% of the fucking weapons you get are the same fucking guns, except with different fucking, like different fucking abilities, like shock abilities or fucking fire ability or this. It's the same fucking weapon, but with different fucking damage. That's all it is. Not to mention the fucking skill-based system, which is broken as shit. Right? You want to know the other reason why I breezed through the fucking campaign so quickly? Was because how they do their fucking skill-based system is you've got your weapons fucking damage when it comes to actual like guns and stuff. Then you've got a section, and you've got your melee damage section, and you've got your speech section. And in that section, you've got 3 fucking other separate perks on top of that. So you've got like your weapons perk for your guns. You've got your heavy guns, your light guns, your fucking, you know, those little perks, right? But you don't unlock the little perks initially. No. You unlock the fucking the main singular perk, and it upgrades all your perks in one go. It does. It unlocks them all. Till you hit the level 50 gap for all those perks. Then you have to singularly put your fucking points in. I did all mine for my lion, persuasion, and fucking intimidation perks, right? I was able to breeze through the fucking game by putting in all my fucking 80% of my fucking points initially in those fucking things, right? And and the amount of fucking points you get every level is ridiculous, right? The amount the fucking points you get, right? You pretty much can upgrade your entire character nearly after the game, and you've played a couple of side missions to that 50 cap. right? So I was able to lie, persuade, and intimidate my way out of everything. It's broken as fuck. At least with Fallout and with Mass Effect and stuff like that. Even though I could fucking upgrade those things early on and I can get away with some things, I still couldn't get away with everything. With this game, I just breezed through it. Like fucking nothing. Like nothing. I got away with so much shit. It was ridiculous. Like when you're going through fucking corridors and stuff like that, where you get these ability where you can disguise yourself in restricted zones for a certain amount of time, and when the meter goes out and someone sees you, they bump into you, and if you have those fucking perks right up, you can fucking get away with it. They bump into you and go, oh, well, yeah, what are you doing here? And you just need to lie your way out, intimidate your way out, or persuade your way out. Straight away. Oh, it's alright, it's fine. And people go, oh, well, but if you bump into them later on, like for a second time, they don't, they actually attack you. No, they don't. I'm sorry, but they don't. The game's a joke. Like everyone praising Obsidian for this game. I'll give it this. There's so much potential there. So much. Right? But in my brutal honest opinion, they have dropped the fucking ball, and they've dropped the fucking ball hard. Right? This is a fucking rant that I needed to fucking talk about, because this is stupid. Right? People giving these games, this game a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10, when the game is broken as shit. The story wasn't even that interesting in the first place. Like, yeah, sure, okay, I had a bit of fun when it came to me being a dick the entire game. I loved being, like, the best way to play this game is to be a dick. Because that's where you get most of your funny and memorable fucking lines out of the game. And I'm not joking. That is actually how it is. It's upsetting that this game is getting so many fucking great reviews when in reality, it's nowhere near as great as what they fucking say it is. It's just not. I was watching a streamer, right? He was about 2-3 hours into his stream, right? And the game was downloaded. Right, I'm going to start playing it. I finished it an hour before the end of his stream. And as I was calculated for when I started watching his stream, when I fucking ended, when an hour before the end of his stream, when I finished the fucking game, it was 6 to 6.5 hours long. That's bad. If you can breeze through the fucking campaign that quickly, without doing any sort of special speed run or anything like that at all, that's bad. That's very, very fucking bad. Especially when you've got games, again, like fucking The Witcher, like fucking Elder Scrolls, like fucking Mass Effect, hell, like Dragon Age, where you've got a good, solid fucking 20 hours into that fucking campaign. The main campaign. Even with all these perks and stuff like that. It works. It's balanced. It feels right. When you leave the game, you feel satisfied. You feel like you want to go back and do the side missions. This game, no. The side missions just feel dragged on and pointless. They just do. I'm sorry, but I'm probably one of the few fucking people out there that's going to criticize this game. And I'm going to. Because anybody that fucking gives this game a fucking great review obviously didn't play the same fucking game I did. Sorry, the fucking something keeps bumping out of my computer because it keeps bashing my desk. But this is just getting out of hand. Like, I'm surprised that, like, yes, you're entitled to enjoy a game, that's fine. But I'm sick to death of hearing the argument from fucking people that play RPGs. It's like, you're supposed to do the fucking side missions. You're supposed to do them, you know? To pad out the runtime. To pad out this. To get the better experience out of it. Yes, that's true. But when your main campaign is short as fuck like this is, it's not even worth fucking playing. I'm sorry, but it isn't. I've already made fucking great examples of games where their main fucking campaign, without doing any of the side missions, any of the fucking side character quests that you had of your companions and shit, right? And just doing straight out from start to finish the main entire story, right? Is longer or even easier difficulties than this shit, right? That's bad. That is a poorly written and poorly designed RPG. And not to mention the amount of fucking times, right, I've gone into a place, I've fucked up stealth or something like that. I've fucking, gone into a massive gunfight or something like that, killed a lot of fucking people in this building, and then as soon as I go into the next room, no effect. Odd. No resounding effect at all. Like, how does that work? Like, how does it work? It's just, like, no matter what you do in the game, nothing significantly big happens till the end of the game. Like, it's just... I wasted my money on the fucking thing. I did. Now, it needed to be said, but honestly, like, look, if you have the game right now and you're enjoying it, good on you. Enjoy the game. Live, like, just have fun with it. Don't have someone like me fucking ruin your experience. But this is one man's opinion with, more than enough fucking evidence to back his statement. Just giving you an opinion. And my opinion is that Obsidian has dropped the fucking ball. Especially when you look at a fucking perfect title like Fallout New Vegas. Hell, that took me 18 hours to finish. And that was one of their previous games. I played that on fucking easy, for Christ's sake. And I finished it in 18 hours. Now you tell me that is... you're telling me that Outer Worlds is a great experience, especially someone like myself, that technically didn't rush the story, just played the main story at my own pace, right? No rushing, no nothing, no fucking speed fucking run bullshit. Did it all that by myself, and it was 6 fucking hours. 6 fucking hours! That's what fucking Angry Joe would fucking scream. But no, he gave it a fucking great review. So did so many other people. But it's funny how the non-critics, the people like myself that have actually sat down and played the game, have a very different outlook. And think that Obsidian really has dropped the ball. But to end my rant, I'm disappointed. Other RPGs that I've played in the past have been better. Have been more lengthy. Have had more substance to it. And have had more content than this. If you intend on buying it because you desperately want to play it, I highly suggest you go out and buy it when it's on special for $20. That's what I highly suggest. Honestly, I think people really should vote with their wallet on this title, because I was severely disappointed. Severely. But when it comes to that rant over, I want to talk about some articles. But that's my rant on Outer Worlds. But I'm sorely disappointed. But anyway, let's hope this week's articles make up for fucker this week. But let's talk about what's been announced this week. What's been announced this week? Right, so BlizzCon's this week. So we have Diablo 4 announced, which I'm so happy. Even though they should have fucking really announced this about a week ago. Not a week ago, but a year ago. But they announced fucking Diablo Immortal. Yeah, when it comes to Diablo Immortal, they really should have, they really should have turned around and actually, I don't know, they really should have, they really should have announced this with Diablo Immortal, because because Diablo Immortal has gotten a lot of fucking flack, because that was the first thing they announced. Clearly, they had something to announce a year ago, because they've shown gameplay and this and that. They had something to announce last year. They could have done this entire cutscene, this entire trailer last year. They should have released this, and then go, but while you guys wait, here's Diablo Immortal. That's what they should have done, but they didn't do it. And it's disappointing that they did that. But look, I'm happy we're getting a Diablo 4. Looks like it's going to be a fucking awesome concept. I'm a massive Diablo fan myself. I'm looking forward to seeing where Diablo 4 is going to go. And we've also got a new World of Warcraft expansion announced as well, which they're reducing the level cap to 60, which I don't 100% understand why, but I think it's because a lot of people that have been coming back to the franchise because of the World of Warcraft Classic, I think they're wanting to try and sort of keep everybody on the same wavelength and level. But I can read up and see what they said anyway. But I'll get to the update on this article in a second. I'll read the main article first. World of Warcraft Shadowlands is getting a level squish that will reduce the level cap down to 60. Blizzard revealed today during BlizzCon 2019 that's good news for all players, as the level grind to reach endgame was becoming a little too much. But with the level squish at current max level, players will be scaled down to 50 and then leveled up to the new cap of 60 over the course of the Shadowlands expansion. Details are scarce right now, but this news comes from a press release that explains all new features coming to Shadowlands. If you're not familiar with WoW, a level squish simply means changing the way a player's power scales as they earn experience and gain new levels. With the reduced level cap, it will now be easier to reach endgame content like raiding, and players won't have to spend as much time questing in older zones. It'll also help Blizzard balance and adjust character stats a little better. Now, I agree, and I'm all for this. I think this is actually a good change, because I do agree the grind is a little much. Especially when you've got a lower level character starting from beginning, and you got to get to like 120. Like it was getting a little overboard, a little high. So that's why a lot of people used to just go, look, I'll pay the extra $20 just to level up the character. So I actually see this as a good thing, because a lot of players then don't feel like they have to force themselves to make a new character. which I'm happy with. I think is a really good idea. But the update was following a WoW panel at BlizzCon 2019. We now have more information about what this squish entails. Now, when you start a new character, they will start at level 1 in an entirely new zone designated to better showcase what makes World of Warcraft special and fun. Once you're level 10, you can choose an expansion to level through. That will take you the entire way from level 10 to level 50. From there, you can go on to Shadowlands, which each and every level will also unlock the new ability, talent, or other upgrades, so each level is meaningful. Okay, like... See, I like that, but then again, like, you've got a lot of people, like, the WoW storyline, you kind of need to play every single expansion, sort of understand the storyline as it goes on. And see, this, at the moment, is not... It's not really a good step, because then you're skipping a lot of key story elements when you get to a specific expansion, and you don't understand what the fuck's going on. So, personally, I think... maybe even making the campaigns a little shorter, like taking out a lot of the not necessary missions out of the game and making it a little more straightforward with the older expansions. I think that probably would have been a lot better, but having them as side quests. So if you wanted to go back and do those missions yourself, you can just go back and do them, but they're not part of the main quest. And you don't have to do them to progress to get to level 60. I think that probably would have been a better option. But then again, World of Warcraft, when it comes to story and stuff like that with each expansion, they are very in-depth, very expansive and stuff like that. And you do really need to do the like side missions and stuff like that to really progress, to understand what's going on. But that's my honest opinion. But we'll see how it goes, I suppose. But also, too, Overwatch 2 was announced. Don't know why. To be really honest with you, because I really don't see a need for Overwatch 2 to be a thing. I just don't. What else new are you going to do? There's nothing new you can really do. It's going to be the same fucking game. All they're really going to do in the end is just make us fucking pay the same amount of money for the same game again. So I don't really see it necessary for them to do a second game. I don't see why they don't just turn around and make the same game, just add to the game they've currently got. Like, it's not like World of Warcraft right now, where World of Warcraft, in my honest opinion, needs to end where it is right now. In my honest opinion, World of Warcraft, it's at its peak. It just is. World of Warcraft needs to make one more expansion after this one, in my honest opinion, end the current storyline, and do what Warhammer did, and make a fucking... just do a 40k version of World of Warcraft. Do something way off in the future. Way off in the future. Something a little more... something a lot better. Something a little more interesting. And create a brand new storyline. In my honest opinion, I think that's what they should do. I think it's probably a great move for them to do. And I think that's where they should go. But for some strange reason, they're still making a heck of a lot of money from World of Warcraft. Even though World of Warcraft is the same fucking game. Like, let's say the expansion is the exact same every single fucking time. So I don't even really see the need for them to even keep doing World of Warcraft stuff, to be brutally honest with you. But Overwatch 2 at the moment is still in its... Well, even though it is dying a little bit, but it's still at its core in a prime area. where they can still keep adding new content and stuff like that, and still keep adding new things to the to the game. You know, it's I don't get why they needed to do something like this. Really, I don't see why they needed to do a second game, because a lot of like all the same characters from the last game will be in this one. Or if they're not going to be in it, it's like straight away, they're going to be in the game at some point. So, again, like the only new thing they're bringing into Overwatch 2 is a campaign. And that's really it. It probably will be good to see a campaign in Overwatch, but they could have added it to the original game, or they could have had it as paid DLC. And this is all this feels like to me. It's just a glorified DLC pack. That's all it seems like to me. Except with the same amount, it's the same heroes, like the same fucking heroes. I don't know. I personally think Blizzard has sort of dropped the ball a little bit when it comes to BlizzCon this year. Like a lot of the stuff they've announced, like Overwatch 2, we saw coming for the last week and a half. It has been hinted. It has been sort of, it has been hinted. It has sort of leaked that it was going to come out, and a lot of people even said back then that we don't really see a point in a sequel. We just don't. But the next thing they did, though, at BlizzCon was they also made an apology. Now I'll wait for this ad to.
What's the best thing about
to go around? Now I did watch this apology before I did the start of the cast, but pretty much the how you feeling, Blitzcon? But he practically apologizes about some of the the responses they've done with banning some players about the fucking free Hong Kong stuff. But honestly, their apology was fucking awful. They didn't apologize directly to the fucking to the player, right? The players that were banned. They didn't reverse the bans. They've kept the fucking bans. This apology was pretty much useless, right? People clapping, people saying, "Oh yeah, it was great, yeah, it was great, yeah." Fucking shills, honestly. It was disappointing, to say the least. Like, of course they're not going to fucking apologise properly, because they don't want to fucking take all the blame. No. But what's the point in making an apology if you're not going to act on it? What's the point? Why wouldn't you in this apology go, look, we made a rash decision, which they kind of did there. Well, did this, we've made rash decisions and stuff like that. And how about you just go, we made a rash decision, we're sorry, we shouldn't have done this. Let's just, I don't know, fucking unban the fucking players we banned. But no, we're not going to do that. Because we're going to sit there and fucking bow down to our Chinese fucking overlords and fucking do whatever the fuck we want. They're primarily in a fucking American company, but clearly they're not fucking... But nowadays they're not. They're owned by fucking China now, and it clearly shows. It's ridiculous. It's because Blizzard's fucking major market is in China. That's where their main fucking market base is. China and Asian countries. That's where their big fucking bucks come from. So of course they're not going to want to fucking piss off them, because that's where their fucking cash flow is coming from. It's absolutely absurd. But if anything, if it had to be a muggle of the week, it'd be this guy for this week. But the problem is that this is pretty fucking minor. for this this week. So it's like Blizzard didn't fuck up royally this week. This was just their small little fuck up they've done because their apology was this apology was absurd. Absolutely, just there was no point even fucking doing it. You know, it's like, oh well, yeah, we're sorry, but you know, oh well, he's still gonna be fucking banned. I'm sorry, Blitzchung, but yeah. Oh well, mate. You are fucked. I'm sorry, but yeah, we're gonna move on from from BlizzCon anyway. But BlizzCon has been somewhat of a success this year, but also a failure. Now they said that they did say that what was it? Trying to think. They did say that. Trying to fuck. I lost my train of thought. Then, they did say that was that's right. That Diablo 4 won't come out for a while, which I kind of gathered. But again, why didn't you just bring something out last year? Clearly, you had something to show last year. Because everything you've shown just then isn't just really a year's worth of work. That's been probably a couple of years worth of work. So you could have shown something last year. Something. You could have at least done that fucking trailer. Just a trailer. And people would have been happy with it. I would have been happy with it. Instead of fucking doing the whole debacle about fucking Diablo Immortal. Because that's shit. I can't believe you fucking stooped that stupidly. But anyway. Enough of them though. Let's move on to another fucking thing that was talked about this week. They did announce the new 3080 cards. They're supposed to be well, this article fucking says supposed to be have more fucking VRAM and supposed to be a lot cheaper. Now, the RTX 7, the RTX 3070 is supposed to have 12 gig. The 3080 is supposed to have 12 gig, which I don't get why. Because it's usually when you want to buy a new fucking card, it should be, because I'm not going to buy a fucking GTX 3070 or 3080, right, if the 3070 is going to do the same fucking job. I'm just not. And by the sounds of things and what I have read up, that's what it's going to be like. Now, they haven't given a price for what the new prices are supposed to be, but all they're saying is it's going to be cheaper. I highly doubt it, and if this article is what we're going to be going off, and if it is true, right, the 3070 and the 3080, if they're going to have the same specs of what I've been reading up as each other, there's no point buying the 3080 if the 3070 is going to do the exact same fucking job. There's no point. And as I've been reading in more about these new gen of GPUs, it's going to be if you're going to go in the same route as the 20s, right? And which is by the looks of things what you're going to go down, right? There's probably going to be no point even buying the 30s either. Because your 10s are going to be still fucking fine. I'm running a 1080 right now, like just a standard 1080, and I have seen zero need to upgrade to the 20s. Zero. Because simply they're not the greatest cards that have ever lived. They're just not. I don't see any singular point in buying one. I just don't. To be brutally honest with you, I still don't see the need to buy them. And don't get me wrong, I'm a massive Nvidia fanboy. But when I look at the RTX 2080 and go, the only benefit from this is ray tracing, which is fucking really nothing. When they've even brought it out to the fucking previous fucking versions of the freaking of the graphics card anyway. So I've got it on my 1080. What's the point? What's the singular point? And when my 1080 can run ray tracing better than the 2080s can, that's saying a lot. That's not really that great, is it? Like at all. Like hell, you look at the differences with the 2080s here, right? Like there's not really much difference. There isn't. But then again, as I said, you've got 6 gig arrays, 8 gig arrays, 10 gig arrays. See where I'm getting at? So you got, but then look, but there's not a lot of difference. There just isn't. I'm sorry, but there isn't. And when you have the 70 and the 80 that are both 8 gig as well on top, especially when the inner core of that is supposed to be slower, but will still keep up with the 2080, there's no point buying a 2080 when you can buy the fucking 2070. There just isn't. Look, I don't know. I'm going to wait till there's a little bit more stuff to do with it, more released about it before I make my final decision on what I think the card's going to be like. But if I see more benefits than I do disadvantages, unlike when it came to the 20s, I will probably, I may buy one. But if they're the same thing and if they're the fucking same crap, I probably won't even bother. Anyway, well, let's move on to the next article that came out this week. Kojima Productions is planning on making films in the future. Hideo Kojima has stated his intent for his studio, Kojima Productions, to start making movies as well as video games in the future. Talking to BBC Newsbeat as part of a documentary about Death Stranding, Kojima said, in the future, Kojima Productions will start making films. If you can do one thing well, then you can do another thing well. They can do everything well. I don't know about that, Kojima, but alright. Just remember now. Just remember, people make video games very well, but people can't make video game movies very well. Just put that in mind. Kojima went on to explain that he sees that movies, TV shows, and games competing in the same space in the future, thanks to streaming technology, and that this will encourage new formats to emerge. I'm very interested in the new format of game that will appear on there, and that's what I want to take on, he said. God, people that try and interpret his words are a bit hard. It's just... but then again, IGN can't fucking write a good fucking article if their life depended on it. But, look, yeah, props to him. If he wants to go into movies, good on him. Like, I think he might do alright. I think, you know, in a lot of ways, I think if anybody from the gaming, the gaming industry that makes video games could go and do movies, Kojima's probably your best man. Especially when a lot of the games you play of his, they're like a movie you can play, really. A lot of his cutscenes would go for about half an hour to 45 minutes. Hell, like his ending cutscene for Metal Gear Solid 4 went for an hour and a half. Like, that's long. Like, if anybody could make a film, it would probably Kojima or in his production team. I think he would be perfect with it. I haven't played Death Stranding yet, but I'm probably going to wait till it comes in on PC. If I can't wait eventually and I sit there and I go, fuck it, I want to play it, I probably will buy it on PS4, give it a try, see what it's like. But in the end, I don't know, I'll see where it goes. Next thing is BioWare hints a tease of Dragon Age 4. In a tweet posted yesterday, BioWare hinted at the possible Dragon Age 4 tease for later in December. Today marks 10 years of Dragon Age. BioWare tweeted, "This year we're excited to join the community's party on December 4th and celebrate a decade together in a world we all love. See you on the 12th of the 4th for Dragon Age Day." Yeah, that's a little on the nose. Yeah. Be expecting Dragon Age 4 will be announced at that point. Yeah, look, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not a huge Dragon Age fan. I know, I do see the appeal, though. I do see the appeal while a lot of people do like Dragon Age. But personally, I think, like, Dragon Age, it just wasn't my cup of tea in the end, sadly. As much as I do like BioWare and their work, even though, regrettably, Andromeda was fucking a dumpster fire. But, yeah, like, I'm hoping that they do better with the new Dragon Age game, but we'll see how it goes, I suppose. There's also a rumor that claiming that Apple was partnering with Valve on the augmented reality stuff. Now, from what I heard, it was more to do with the fact that Apple was helping them out with it. They footed the bill with it all. Some team fucking left from a group of people left from the project. Trying to think. A group of people left from the project. And I'm trying to really work out. And then all of a sudden, Valve comes out with the augmented reality stuff, even though apparently Valve left it. So, yeah, it's a bit of a complicated thing. I'll put the article in the in the chat for everybody to read. Anybody that's part of the YouTube chat, sorry, I can't put it in right. I don't have the YouTube chat up. But for myself, I think that it's a bit of a controversial. It's more of a, how do you put it? It's definitely a rumor, to say the least. And I don't know. I personally don't. Well, I personally believe it in some ways, but I don't know how much I believe it. So I don't know. We'll come to it at some point anyway. We'll discuss if anything more comes out of it later on. This article didn't really go into depth with that sort of outside rumor that people were talking about, but they did talk about initially what was going to sort of happen. If you want to do more research, by all means do so. If you guys want to put your insights on this, please let me know. I'll be willing to have a discussion on it, especially in our Discord. I have our Discord in the description of our Twitch. If you want to join that, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't really have much thought on that, really. It's just something that sort of just came out sort of this week, so I thought I'd bring it up to talk about. And the last thing to talk about is Call of Duty. Call of Duty Modern Warfare narrative director defends Highway of Death. Apparently it's got nothing to do with a similar massacre with the exact same name. Call of Duty Modern Warfare has been criticised for a mission inspired by the Gulf War massacre that flips the perpetrator from America to Russia. Russian players in particular, but certainly not exclusively, have expressed their anger. Of course they have. The Highway of Death, but creative director Taylor Kurizaki has stuck to his guns and defended the mission. Though it is set in a fictional country of Urkistan, Modern Warfare draws from real scenarios and events to create its missions, with notable parallels with ongoing Syrian civil war and the Gulf War. In an interview with GameSpot, Kurizaki said that Infinity Ward did painstaking research over years and years, and that what players are seeing are things real soldiers and civilians experienced during wars. Realism was the goal, apparently, but it's still taken an infamous event from recent history down to the name. And once again turned Russia into a villain. Fucking Jesus. Kurizaki defends the mission by noting the location in the game already had the name before the mission takes place. So the Russian attack that takes place isn't technically the reason it's called Highway of Death, but that doesn't change the similarities or the fact that the atrocity in the game is Russian. He then goes on to... keep reading this because I want to see this guy's fucking opinion in this. He then goes on to distance the mission from the real event further, suggesting that it doesn't have anything to do with the Gulf War massacre whatsoever. I think you could probably find many instances of the words Highway of Death being used in a lot of cases. The reason why Urkistan is a fictional country is because we are taking themes that we see played over and over and over again over the last 50 years in countries all over the world. And we're not making a simulation of one particular country and one particular conflict. Kurizaki also defends the portrayal of Russia, adding that no side is good or bad. It's apparently the plight of civilians that Modern Warfare is most concerned with. I think that for people who are from a more privileged background, where they don't live in close proximity to these conflict zones, they don't think about the cost of the locals in the area, and I think this is the thing we're really building awareness of. Infinity Ward wants to have it all. It takes politically charged scenarios and ongoing conflicts, repackages them, and waives all responsibility, but still wants credit for being thoughtful when it comes to... Oh, for fuck's sake. Fraser Brand, you're a fucking idiot. Okay. Right. Let's get something out of the way. Right? And I'm going to get this out of the way straight away, right? No one cares apart from you. And what's with this whole defending fucking Russia now these days? It's kind of a bit funny how recently everyone seems to have a love boner for hating fucking Russians. Has a massive boner for hating Russians. Why is it a thing now? To all of a sudden love Russia. Oh, how dare they make Russia look bad? Oh no. People have been doing it in media, in action, especially in action movies, for fuck's sake, for years. Making Russia look like the menace and making them look bad. They've been doing it for fucking years. Video games have been doing it for years too. Right? It's not a new thing. It's not. Yes, there are some scenes that do make Russia look out to be really bad. But then again, they're taking things from real world conflicts. Good. That's what us players want to see. We want realism. We want to be in the shoes of what a soldier would really see. Whether it's traumatizing or not. Because at least on some sort of level we'll feel what they're feeling. Not 100%. No, because what some of these soldiers go through and what they see is horrendous. You know, like some of these stories of hearing soldiers having to shoot kids with suicide vests or with guns and stuff like that, and having to pull the trigger. You know, like it's upsetting to see. We want to see that sort of stuff because it's realistic. It's what happens, right? And you're going on with the fact that about, it takes after like the horrible massacre. Yeah? And? Right? Like these things that happen, these atrocities and these these war crimes and stuff do happen. Whether it's from fucking just Russia, whether it's from America, whether it's from fucking the Europe, whether it's from fucking like Australia, where it's from, no matter what country you're from, your country has done some sort of fucking war crime. It's just common fucking knowledge. And in modern warfare, yes. But most of the game, it is a bit of a toss-up on what side's good and what side isn't. And it does blur the lines for a bit. But then again, it does, towards near the end, prominently show who the good guys are. But then when it comes down to it, though, is that a lot of the scenes they did show were horrid. Were horrible things to see. Innocent people being fucking affected by fucking white phosphorus, for instance. They did show that. In that camp. Prisoners were affected by the white phosphorus fucking bomb they dropped on them. As well as fucking, Russian soldiers. Adding on to that, you've also got, what else? You've also got some of the fucking parts where you're clearing through rooms and stuff like that. Where you see fucking, you go to a room, you see a woman holding a baby, and then there's a guy in the room, as soon as he pulls out a gun, you shoot him. Straight away, you see her in the corner of your eye, drop the baby and grab a gun. It's like, oh god, that's horrid, oh no, I'm sorry, but that happens in real life. One of the original fucking things they brought into the game that they took out because everyone was going on about, oh no, it's too fucking intense, it's too confronting, they need to censor it. And then they censor it and you go, oh, it's not that bad. Well, I don't know why people were going on about it. When you were the fucking cunts that were complaining about how fucking in your face it was. Grow the fuck up! This shit happens! It happens. And I give fucking Activision and Call of Duty and Infinity Ward fucking props. But then again, they shouldn't have censored some of the things that they were going to put in the game. I'm telling you guys that right now, you should have kept it. Because in my honest opinion, I would have given the game a fucking much higher rating. I would have fucking classed it as probably one of the best Call of Duty games you would have done. Not because these scenes could make me turn into a fucking serial killer or something like that. No. It's because you accurately predict, you accurately show on screen some of the shit some of these soldiers actually go through. And what they see. What they do. They weren't half wrong. Yes, it is very much actionized in some ways. Because again, at its core, it's still a Call of Duty game. But this has been a very big diversion for them, and I want them to keep doing this. And next time, don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the people that tell you need to censor your game, and fucking do it. Just outright do it. Because I guarantee you'll have a fucking better response from a lot of diehard gamers that will respect your fucking decision. And so fucking what they changed the sides of this fucking atrocity, right? at its core, it's still an event. And yes, they would have had to have changed the sides for the simple fact that it wouldn't have fitted exactly their story narrative. What they were going for, story-wise. So I get it. Why they changed it. The sides of who was going to get attacked. But again, it's funny enough that you are cranky at the fact that they took an atrocity that happened to American soldiers. But then again, I don't get this big, huge Russian fucking boner that people have now these days. I just don't. Fucking a month ago, or 2 months ago, I should say, people, for the past 2 years, since fucking Trump became elected as president, all we've gotten was, fuck Russia this, fuck Russia that, fuck Russia this, fuck Russia that. Then we get a game about fucking, killing Russians. Oh, it's a bit too much, I'm afraid. It's a bit too far. Oh, no, fuck off. We've had this fucking shit in our video. Like, when it comes to action movies, when it comes to action-orientated video games, right? Russia being the fucking villain, is not unheard of. Right? And yes, they used something that was an atrocity that happened. Right? In a lot of ways, it shows that what happened to the Russians in that fucking scene, if you played the game, was horrible. Right? Not the initial fucking, shooting the fucking Russians while they're fucking pushing you. No. What happened at the end of that fucking mission? How those Russians died was fucking horrible. As again, they still still blurred the lines of who was the good guy and who was the bad guy. And that's what it did. And it did it fairly well. So people that are still complaining and still bitching and whining and having a problem about this, grow up. These things happen. It's horrendous. It's horrible. I know. We all know. But sadly, us gamers, and even movie watchers, when it comes to fucking realistic war movies, like Hacksaw Ridge and fucking... Hell, you can even go back to fucking Black Hawk Down. Realistic war movies like that, people wanted to see. They wanted to see what... And even... I even go on with American Sniper too. Like, what these soldiers see. Yes, they see this shit. We want to see this. Even though it's horrendous. And it's not as affecting as what an American soldier actually in that moment sees. Or any soldier for that matter. Right? But at least we know what they've gone through, what they've seen. Because we're seeing it. As I said, I give Infinity Ward all props. They did their research. They did the right thing. Anybody that's fucking bitching needs to just grow up. It's been happening for fucking years. Russia being the villain in fucking video games and movies have been going on. And if people fucking bring up the whole political argument, just stop. Right? Because at the moment, bringing up that argument just brings fucking politics straight back into video games again, and it just ruins fucking a good time. It's become now to the point, when it comes to video games and when it comes to movies and stuff like that, we can't sit down and watch a movie, we can't sit down and play a video game, without having some sort of political message jammed down our throats. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of video games, a lot of movies and stuff like that out there, right, that have strong political messages, strong economic messages, and stuff like that, that are powerful, beautiful, awesome films or video games. There are out there. But there is so many other movies, so many other video games that don't have this message. Don't have any of these messages or pro, PC culture, anti-PC culture, fucking pro-Trump, anti-Trump, like pro-climate change, anti-climate change. All of those movies exist, you know, and you can pick one movie from every single spectrum of opinion or theory or anything like that at all. One movie from each and class it as a masterpiece. Same as video games. And it upsets me that video games and movies are not what they used to be. They're just not. You know, like, I can't go and watch a new fucking Terminator movie without the fucking same shit that's going on. And welcome back. Hello, Vesp.
Hello.
You're coming right to the end of the fucking podcast, but we're having a rant about Russia being the fucking bad guy in Modern Warfare, and
Russia was the bad guy in the first Modern Warfare, the second, and the third. What the fuck is the difference now?
yeah, I know.
Oh, that's right. War crimes have now been added to it. That's why.
Oh, and all the current day politics that have to ruin it. And
People are just going to whinge for the sake of whinging, Nico. Like, especially you don't get a hernia over it.
I know, but where I'm trying to get at is it's now come to this point where no matter what we do, and as the point I made about Call of Duty like earlier before you just jumped in, is that you look at the fucking people that have hated Russia for the last 2 years, especially when Trump come in. Right? There's hate boner for Trump. But all of a sudden, oh, poor Russia. Where the fuck has this come from? It's like, you have standards for one thing, but you don't have standards for another. Like, it's just, I don't get it. And the reason why people want to play a game like Modern Warfare is because, again, same as fucking some of these realistic war movies. The same thing. We want to see this stuff. Even though it's traumatic to see, even though we weren't in that person's shoes, we want to see and experience it ourselves. Right? And what that does is it gives us more respect for armed servicemen. It does. Because what they see, what they interact with, and what they do is, you know, insane compared to what goes on. It just is. And do you agree with that?
I guess, yeah.
It's
Unless, unlike a lot of people in this gaming community, I don't squeal at the first sign of like something different to what my opinion is.
fair enough. Then again, like I did have to have a bit of a rant earlier about a lot of people that have a different opinion about fucking Outer Worlds. I have a completely different opinion on Outer Worlds than a lot of other people have been having. Oh boy.
It's a better game than Fallout 76, so I don't know what everyone's whining about.
Well, look, I'll say this, right? And I made this point at the beginning of the stream. I finished Outer Worlds' main campaign, unlocked 2 of their core characters that you can have to run around the game with. Only 2 when there's about 6. And only went to 2 or 3 planets when there was like 6 planets all up. And I finished the campaign in 6 hours. The main campaign. Now, when you put it into perspective of something like Mass Effect, where it would take, I don't know, let's just say, like, it took me about 18 hours to finish the first game, just doing the main story mission. Look at something like The Witcher 3, where it took me about 30 to 35 hours. Like, that's pretty piss poor. In my honest opinion. But then again, I don't know. Look, that's been my opinion and stuff like that. But while you're here anyway, we've been trying to discuss probably a new time to do the podcast. because at the moment now that I'm been working nights and you've been having some time issues as well with some things going on with you as well. So we're gonna sort of let everyone know that we are working on what we're gonna do fucking next. This is gonna be a nightmare. So yeah. While you're here, how's your week been? Before we end up sort of putting the closing sort of stuff on the podcast.
It's been good. Just been grinding my ass off with Tarkov.
Yeah, I haven't been playing much Tarkov since the wipe. I played it a couple of times, but not a lot. Not a lot yet. But I'll have to. I'll have to sort of get more into it, I suppose. Play a bit more of it, but I've been playing a bit more of Ark again lately. But as I said, I played and finished Modern Warfare this week, and I played and finished Outer Worlds in 6 hours. Fucking 6 hours.
There's Modern Warfare on Steam.
No, it's on the Blizzard store because Blizzard at Activision now. So that's where all the Call of Duty games will be now. On their store. Which is fair enough because they own the company, so and Blizzard's has always had their own service, so I don't see why they wouldn't do it. So, but for people that don't already know, also too, Red Dead Redemption 2 is now out on PC as well. It's on the Rockstar store, but if you're willing to wait a month, it'll be out on Steam in a month. So I'll be probably waiting for it to come out on Steam in a month. If are you planning on buying it on PC, dude, or not really?
Red Dead, I don't know what. This is unpopular opinion. I don't know what the big fuss about Red Dead is.
So, look, for me, I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. I thought the first one was just awesome. A perfect Western game. The second one, it felt like it was lacking a little bit. I don't know what it was. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked Arthur Morgan. I thought the story itself was good, but there was something there that was lacking. I don't know what it was, but I don't know. I just couldn't really put my finger on it.
See, for me, I don't like all this open world shit. I honestly prefer a linear locked experience. Much like, but not to the point where it's A to B in one straight line. Like Crisis 1, where you got to run around and do this stuff, but you ultimately had to go in the one direction anyway.
Yeah.
This open world crap that all came out with Far Cry. Hate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate it. Still trying to pad the game, but really only is probably like 7 hours long. I'm not interested in what Tom, Dick, or Harry NPC down the road is doing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But, well, one other opinion that I wouldn't mind getting from you as well. What do you think of BlizzCon this year? Everything that's been announced.
What's got announced?
Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, and a new World of Warcraft expansion.
World of Warcraft, where they return the level down to 60, so you go about, 50 levels you go down now? You know, lose 50 levels. It doesn't worry me. World of Warcraft I haven't really seen it in a very long time. Although I might get back into it now that Natalie told me that she used to play. So
yeah, well,
we might play it together. But I honestly don't give a shit about Overwatch 2. I liked Overwatch 1, but then they added competitive, and then all the cancer that was known to competitive gaming disappeared.
it just was there.
It just came in, and you'd be like, you're playing casual, and some guy would be like, yeah, it's only fucking Trash a Tracer. Why the fuck are you playing her? And I'm like, because it's casual. Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm having fun. Kiss my ass. But,
Diablo couldn't give a shit. After what was the Diablo 3, we didn't care.
How dare you?
They ruined it. They fucked up the Diablo 3. I didn't even touch it after they even fixed it. I refused to. No, fuck it. I don't even know how I feel about. They'll probably fuck Diablo 4 2 up. They'll probably try and add the auction house.
No,
back.
I hope they don't.
They'll probably try it. It's Activision
Because
Blizzard, remember?
because the auction house was the thing that crueled it. I came back when they got rid of it. Because when they got rid of it, they brought in Reaper of Souls, and it made the game just fucking tenfold fucking better. They brought it to Reaper of Souls because that expansion just made Diablo, like, brought a whole lot of new life to Diablo 3. It just did.
Yeah, but remember, it's Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, I
like,
know.
They fucked Destiny, and now Destiny's flourishing after it. Like,
Yeah.
you know. So.
Yeah, I know, but like, see, for me, I just love Diablo. I just love the whole franchise. I played every single game. I love Diablo. I'm looking forward to it. But then again, they really should have announced that when they announced Diablo Immortal. And I really should. But they didn't because they're fucksticks. Oh, but did you see that they apologized?
To what?
So, you know how the whole free Hong Kong bullshit and they banned a couple of pro players? Yeah, they did a half-assed apology but did none ban the players.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
No.
They care about their stock price going back up.
That's all they care about.
Yeah, that's all it ever was. It was stock price going back up.
Yeah. I love it.
They don't give a shit if a couple of fat virgins in a basement get angry because, you know, some Asian got banned because they dared to have, you know, an opinion other than what the Winnie the Pooh party has. You know what I mean?
No, fuck. But then again, it's
Free Hong Kong!
free Hong Kong. And that's us on Twitch. Bye, Twitch!
Nah, we're on YouTube.
And now we're on YouTube. Hi, YouTube! But, yeah, no,
We'll go to Mr.
what was it? I think now, fucking... But I love how that, like, at the front of the event, the stuff like that, they have, like, a fucking van that says Free Hong Kong Blizzard and stuff like that. Oh, dear. Like, the people have just jumped into the meme, and I love it. Absolutely love it. The whole fucking thing has been a disaster / okay event. What do you think of the announcement of the new 30 cards?
What?
They've announced the 30 cards. Yeah, RTX 30s.
30. Like the 3000
Yep,
series.
3070, 3080, and 3080 Ti's.
Okay.
The 3070s and the 3080s are both 16 gig cards. Oh, sorry, not 16, 12 gig cards.
So, what put this on, I wonder?
No idea.
See, I'm not concerned. Like, you know, I'd love a better graphics card, but
The problem...
I ain't paying $4,000 for this shit.
Well, they're supposed to be cheaper too, but they haven't released the prices. And they said that last year about the fucking 20s, and they weren't fucking cheaper. They were fucking more expensive. So I don't know. I don't see any real need to buy a new card yet. To be really honest with you. But I don't know. Yeah, that's all that's really been coming out. Apparently, Kojima wants to do his own movies, which I think if it was anybody, he'd probably be best at it. And a couple other little things, but nothing really major news-wise that's come out this week. So, but yes. Anyway, well, might end the podcast anyway. Thanks for coming in anyway, Vesp. Anyway. Been great having a small little chat with you anyway for the podcast. It's been lonely without you. You know that?
Right.
Been fucking lonely. Oh dear. Anyway, alright, well, I'll see everyone next week. Me and Vesp will have a quick chat and try and decide what we're going to do with time changes and stuff like that with the podcast. So, this will be the third time we've had to fucking change the time frame for the fucking cunt.
So you know how you can fix this? We put it back to whatever day it was last, and you quit your job.
No. I'm not.
That means you're on every day then, and I don't have to worry about it conflicting with me being with my partner.
That's very true. Well, we'll probably
Yep.
have to do something during the day, sometime around then. Probably a bit better. Well, for me anyway. But anyway, all right, everybody. All right, we'll chat to you later. We'll update everybody when it comes to that. But at the moment, probably be Mondays at the moment. But it won't be at 6 o'clock unless I'm able to do it at 6 o'clock. So all right, then, everyone. All right, we'll chat to you all later. Have a good week.
Adios.